There was a woman who spent 3 years chasing manifestation, like it was a second job. She collected crystals, burned sage at every moon phase, and filled 17 journals with positive statements. She went to workshops, bought online courses, and memorized how to picture her dreams from every spiritual teacher she could find. But her bank account was still empty. Her relationships did not get any better. Her dreams felt farther away than ever before. Then, something changed on a normal Tuesday afternoon. She was sitting in her car after another disappointing meeting. She was not trying to make anything happen. She was not saying positive words to herself. She was not picturing a life of abundance. She was just sitting there. And in that moment of giving up, a deep knowing came to her from somewhere beyond her thinking mind. It said, "You have been pushing against the very thing you are trying to create." Everything she thought she knew about making her dreams real fell apart in that second. She saw that she had been operating from a feeling of not having enough, while trying to create a life of plenty. Every technique had been a quiet way of saying that what she wanted was not already here. Every practice had been based on the belief that she needed to earn what was naturally hers. That was the day she stopped trying to manifest and started allowing what was already seeking her. What you want is not separate from you. It is not something you need to run after, convince, or prove you are good enough to receive. What you desire is already moving toward you through the quantum field with the same power that you are moving toward it. The question is not whether manifestation works. The question is whether you are vibrationally ready to receive what is already yours. But let us stop here, because this idea needs a complete rewiring of how you have been taught to think about desire itself. From the time you were a child, you learned that wanting something meant you did not have it, that desiring something meant you were missing it, that needing something meant you were not whole without it. These are not just thoughts. They are energy patterns that have become part of your nervous system. They create an automatic reaction every time you feel a desire come up. Watch what happens in your body when you think about something you really want. Notice the tension, the urgency, the small anxiety that appears. This is your nervous system turning on the frequency of lack because it has been trained to connect desire with being separate from what you want. But what if desire is not proof of what you do not have? What if desire is actually proof of what you are already connected to? In the quantum field, there is no such thing as empty space. What looks like emptiness is actually a field of endless potential, filled with every possibility that has ever existed or could exist. Your desires do not come from a place of lack. They come from this field of potential recognizing itself through your awareness. When you feel pulled towards something, you are not pointing out what is missing from your life. You are pointing out what is ready to come into your experience. This changes everything about how you approach manifestation. It means your desires are not problems to be solved. They are gifts to be received. They are not proof that something is wrong with your life now. They are invitations to grow into a fuller version of who you are. They are not random wants from your ego. They are precise messages from the universe about what is trying to come to life through you. Most people make manifestation incredibly complicated because they have been taught that anything good requires a struggle. They add one technique on top of another, believing that more effort means faster results. But here is what quantum science shows us about consciousness and reality. The field responds not to your effort, but to your coherence. Not to your desperation, but to your alignment. Not to your wanting, but to your being. Think about how a tuning fork works. When you hit one tuning fork, any other tuning fork of the same frequency will start to vibrate with it, even if it is across the room. They do not have to try to match each other. They do not have to work to get in harmony. They naturally fall into the same frequency because that is how vibrational systems work. This is exactly how manifestation works in the quantum field. Your consciousness is like a tuning fork, always sending out a vibrational frequency based on your main emotional state. It is based on your beliefs about reality and your nervous system's sense of safety or threat. Everything you want exists at specific frequencies in the quantum field. When your personal frequency matches the frequency of what you want, resonance happens automatically, not through effort, but through coherence. But here is where most people get stuck. They try to change their frequency through mental effort alone. They use positive statements, visualizations, and positive thinking to cover up their deeper emotional patterns. This is like trying to change the sound of a guitar by thinking different thoughts about the strings. The frequency of the instrument is decided by the tension in the strings, not by what you think about the music it could make. Your emotional body is like those guitar strings. The frequency you send out is decided by the emotional tension or ease you carry about specific topics. If you have emotional tension about money, stored pain from past financial stress, or nervous system fear about survival, no amount of positive thinking about abundance will change your vibrational frequency around wealth. The field responds to what you feel, not what you think you should feel. You have been living inside a belief system that says you must work for what you want, but quantum manifestation works from a completely different idea. You do not create what you want. You become ready to receive what is already seeking you. You do not manifest through force. You manifest through resonance. You do not attract by trying harder. You attract by trying less and being more. This is not spiritual avoidance or wishful thinking. This is the science of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field. When you understand how reality actually forms at the quantum level, manifestation becomes not a practice you do, but a natural expression of who you are. The reason most manifestation teachings leave you frustrated is because they are teaching you to control reality from the outside. When reality can only be changed from within, they are teaching you to chase what you want, when what you want is already moving toward you. They are teaching you to become someone worthy of your desires, when you are already vibrationally matched to everything you have ever dreamed of having. But here is where it gets interesting. The simplicity of true manifestation is exactly what makes it hard for most people to accept. Because simplicity requires surrender, and surrender threatens every story you have been told about how life works. It threatens the belief that you must earn love, struggle for success, and prove you are worthy of abundance. What if none of that was true? What if the very act of trying to manifest was creating resistance to the manifestation? What if your desires are not goals to achieve, but frequencies to live in? What if manifestation is not about getting something you do not have, but about removing the blocks to what is already yours? This is the quantum truth that changes everything. You are not separate from what you desire. You and your desires exist in the same unified field of consciousness. When you want something, that wanting creates a matching movement in the field. Your desire literally calls your manifestation into existence across all possible timelines at the same time. But here is where quantum mechanics gets mystical. In the many worlds idea of quantum physics, every possible outcome of every possible situation exists at the same time in parallel realities. Right now, there is a version of you that already has everything you have ever wanted. There is a timeline where you are already living in abundance. Another where you are in perfect health. Another where you are experiencing the love you have always dreamed of. These are not fantasies or possible futures. They are actual realities, existing right now in the quantum multiverse. The question is not whether these realities exist, because quantum science confirms that they do. The question is which reality you are tuning into with your consciousness. Which timeline you are bringing into your experience through your vibrational frequency. Which version of endless possibilities you are making real through your moment-to-moment choices about what to believe, feel, and embody. This is why manifestation is not about creating something new. It is about selecting which already existing reality you want to experience. It is about shifting your consciousness from the timeline where you do not have what you want to the timeline where you already do. It is about quantum jumping between parallel versions of yourself until you land in the reality that matches your deepest desires. But most people never make this jump because they are trying to get to a different timeline while staying emotionally tied to their current one. They want to experience abundance while continuing to feel scarcity. They want to manifest love while staying familiar with being alone. They want to create success while keeping their comfort with struggle. This creates what quantum physicists call interference patterns, where multiple frequencies cancel each other out instead of making each other stronger. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station while also broadcasting static on the same frequency. The signal gets messy, distorted, and unclear. This is what happens when you try to manifest from a divided consciousness. When part of you wants something new while another part of you holds on to what is familiar, even if what is familiar is limitation. The art of quantum manifestation is learning to become singular in your frequency, coherent in your vibration, and unified in your consciousness. It is about aligning every level of your being, mental, emotional, physical, energetic, with the reality you are choosing to experience. Not through force or effort, but through recognition and embodiment. But most people never receive what they are calling in, because they are vibrating from the frequency of separation rather than union. They are sending out a signal of need instead of knowing. They are radiating effort instead of ease. And the field, which is always perfectly responsive, mirrors back exactly what they are putting out. Let me share something that will change how you understand the relationship between you and your desires. In quantum physics, there is a principle called entanglement. When two particles become entangled, they stay connected no matter how far apart they are. What affects one instantly affects the other. They are not separate things. They are one system expressing itself in two locations. Your consciousness and your desires work the same way. They are entangled in the quantum field. When you desire something, you are not reaching towards something outside of you. You are recognizing something that is already vibrationally connected to you. Your desire is the universe's way of showing you what is ready to manifest through you. But here is what blocks this natural flow. The moment you start trying to make it happen, you create interference in the entanglement. It is like trying to force two magnets together. The harder you push, the more they resist. But when you simply allow them to find their natural attraction, they come together without effort. This is why manifestation becomes much more powerful when you let go of the need to control how, when, and where it happens. Because control is based on the illusion that you and your desires are separate. But alignment is based on the truth that you are already one. So how do you move from trying to allowing? How do you shift from effort to ease? How do you become ready to receive what is already seeking you? It starts with understanding that your nervous system, not your mind, is the main mechanism for manifestation. Your nervous system is always sending out your vibrational signature to the quantum field. And that signature is not decided by what you think or say, but by what you feel and embody. When your nervous system believes you already have what you want, the field responds by bringing that timeline into your physical reality. But when your nervous system is activated by lack, fear, or desperation, no amount of positive thinking can override that signal. Your body becomes a tower broadcasting scarcity, and the field reflects that frequency back to you with perfect accuracy. This is why true manifestation work is nervous system work. It is not about programming your mind with new thoughts. It is about teaching your body to feel safe in the frequency of having what you want. It is about embodying the emotional feeling of your fulfilled desires until that feeling becomes your normal state. And here is the beautiful paradox. The moment your nervous system truly feels what it is like to already have what you want, you stop needing it in the same desperate way. You want it, but you do not need it. You desire it, but you are not attached to it. You are open to receiving it, but you are complete without it. This energy state is magnetic because it is free from the resistance that comes with neediness. When you are complete within yourself, you become a vacuum for everything that matches your wholeness. When you are abundant in your energy, abundance flows to you without effort. When you are love in your frequency, love finds you everywhere. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I am already whole. Let this be your statement to the quantum field, that you are no longer trying to become something you are not. You are simply remembering what you have always been. This is not about convincing yourself of something that is not true. This is about recognizing the truth that has been hidden under layers of conditioning. You are not broken and needing to be fixed. You are not lacking and needing to be filled. You are already whole, already complete, already connected to everything you desire. But your conditioning has trained you to look for proof of what is missing instead of what is already here. You have been taught to focus on what you do not have instead of what you are already receiving. You have been conditioned to believe that wanting something means you are separate from it, when wanting is actually the first movement of manifestation. Here is what changes when you truly understand this. You stop trying to get things from the universe and start allowing things to flow through you. You stop seeing yourself as separate from your desires and start recognizing yourself as the space through which they manifest. You stop being a beggar asking for scraps and start being a co-creator working with infinite intelligence. This shift in identity changes everything because it changes your vibrational signature. Instead of sending out need, you send out readiness. Instead of radiating desperation, you radiate receptivity. Instead of transmitting lack, you transmit love, and love is the frequency that dissolves all resistance between you and what you are calling in dot. But love here does not mean emotional attachment. It means energetic alignment. It means being in harmony with the natural flow of creation. It means trusting that what is meant for you is already on its way to you. It means knowing that the universe is not working against you, but is you. This trust is not blind faith. It is scientific understanding. Quantum physics shows us that consciousness is the fundamental ground of reality. Your awareness does not just watch reality. It helps create reality. Every moment your consciousness is turning endless possibilities into single experiences. The question is whether you are turning possibilities that match your desires or possibilities that continue your limitations. But here is what makes this understanding revolutionary. Most people think consciousness is something that happens inside their brain, contained within their skull, limited to their personal thoughts and perceptions. But quantum field theory shows something much more amazing. Consciousness is not local. It is not confined to your individual mind. It is a field phenomenon that goes beyond the limits of your physical body and connects you to the universal intelligence that organizes all of reality. This means your thoughts, emotions, and intentions do not just affect your personal experience. They ripple out into the quantum field and influence the fabric of reality itself. When you shift your consciousness, you are not just changing your inner world. You are taking part in the continuous creation of the collective reality that we all share. This is why individual transformation is never just personal. It is always cosmic. Every time you choose love over fear, abundance over scarcity, trust over control, you are not just making your own life better. You are strengthening those frequencies in the collective field, making it easier for others to find and embody them. Every time you step out of a timeline of limitation and into a timeline of possibility, you are expanding what is available for all consciousness to experience. This is the deeper purpose behind manifestation that most teachings miss. It is not about getting what you want, so you can be happy. It is about becoming the kind of consciousness that naturally attracts what it desires, so that you can serve the evolution of all consciousness. It is about embodying the frequencies of love, abundance, joy, and peace so powerfully that you become a living transmission of these qualities for everyone around you. When you understand manifestation from this point of view, everything changes. You are no longer trying to control reality for personal gain. You are aligning with the evolutionary impulse of consciousness itself. You are not taking from a limited supply of good things. You are increasing the abundance available to everyone by showing what is possible when someone fully lives from their true nature. This shift in motivation changes the quality of your manifestations because it removes the ego's plan and aligns you with the universe's plan. and the universe's plan is always the expansion of love, consciousness, and creative expression. When your desires are in harmony with this cosmic purpose, the entire field of reality rearranges itself to support your manifestations. But this does not mean you need to have noble or spiritual desires for manifestation to work. The universe does not judge your wants as good or bad, spiritual or material, worthy or unworthy. Every desire you have, even the ones that seem selfish, serves the expansion of consciousness when you approach it from this understanding of unity and connection. When you desire financial abundance, you are not just looking for personal security, you are exploring consciousness through the frequency of prosperity. When you desire romantic love, you are not just looking for personal fulfillment, you are investigating consciousness through the frequency of close connection. When you desire creative expression, you are not just looking for personal satisfaction, you are allowing consciousness to know itself through the frequency of artistic beauty. Every manifestation is consciousness exploring its own endless potential through your unique point of view and experience. This is why your desires matter to the universe. They are not random wants that you happen to have. They are specific ways that universal consciousness is seeking to express itself through the lens of your individual awareness. When you operate from trust instead of fear, from knowing instead of hoping, from being instead of trying, you naturally bring into being the timelines where your desires are already fulfilled. Not because you forced it to happen, but because you removed the resistance that was stopping it from happening. This is the difference between manifestation as control and manifestation as collaboration. When you try to control reality, you are operating from the belief that the universe is resistant to your desires. But when you collaborate with reality, you are operating from the understanding that the universe is working with you for your desires. If this understanding is changing something in how you see things, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps this frequency reach others who are ready for this truth. And here is the proof for this understanding. Look at everything that has ever flowed into your life without effort. Your breath, your heartbeat, your cells renewing. You do not try to make these happen. They happen through you because you are aligned with the intelligence that creates them. Manifestation works the same way when you align with the intelligence that creates everything. The practices that really work are not about doing more, but about being more receptive. They are not about adding techniques to your routine, but about removing blocks from your energy. They are not about convincing the universe to give you what you want, but about becoming available to receive what is already yours. So let me share with you the most effective practice I know for shifting from trying to allowing, from effort to ease, from resistance to receptivity. It is called the recognition protocol, and it works by training your nervous system to recognize what is already here instead of focusing on what is missing. First, create space for stillness. This does not require hours of meditation or complex rituals. Just 5 minutes of quiet, where you are not trying to fix, change, or improve anything. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes and let your breath find its natural rhythm. Next, bring to mind something you desire. But instead of focusing on not having it, focus on the quality of energy it would bring to your life. If you desire abundance, focus on the feeling of security and freedom. If you desire love, focus on the feeling of connection and appreciation. If you desire health, focus on the feeling of vitality and ease. Now, here is the key. Instead of trying to create these feelings, look for where you are already experiencing them in your life right now. Where do you already feel secure? Where do you already feel loved? Where do you already feel vital? Let yourself fully receive these existing experiences, instead of brushing them off as not enough. As you breathe into these present moments of fulfillment, notice how your body responds. Notice how your nervous system begins to relax. Notice how the energy of having becomes more familiar than the energy of wanting. This is the frequency that attracts more of what you are already receiving. I am curious about your experience with this shift. Share in the comments below. What is one moment when you felt yourself move from wanting to already having? What did that recognition feel like in your body? The final step is integration. Instead of ending the practice and immediately focusing on what is still missing, carry this frequency of recognition into your day. Let yourself notice where life is already saying yes to you, instead of only seeing where it seems to be saying no. This practice works because it trains your nervous system to feel familiar with having what you want, and familiarity is the secret to manifestation. The field brings you more of what feels normal to you, not what feels exciting or special. When abundance feels normal, abundance flows. When love feels normal, love multiplies. When success feels normal, success speeds up. But there is another layer to this that most people miss. Your nervous system does not just need to feel familiar with having what you want. It needs to feel safe with having what you want. This is where many manifestations get blocked. Not because you cannot receive them, but because your nervous system sees receiving them as dangerous. Think about it. What would actually change in your life if you manifested everything you say you want? How would your relationships shift? What responsibilities would you have? What expectations would others place on you? What parts of your identity would need to change? Your nervous system is always calculating these possible changes and deciding whether they feel safe or threatening. If your nervous system connects wealth with greed, love with being hurt, success with being alone, or being seen with danger, it will unconsciously block your manifestations to keep you in the comfort zone of limitation. This is not a personal failure or lack of worthiness. It is biological programming designed to keep you alive, even when that programming is old and no longer helps you grow. This is why true manifestation work often involves healing not just your relationship to desire, but your relationship to receiving, having, being seen, taking up space, and claiming your power. It requires updating your nervous system's safety settings so that expansion feels safer than contraction, abundance feels safer than scarcity, and love feels safer than protection. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through what I call embodiment rehearsal. This involves spending time each day not just picturing what you want, but actually practicing being the person who already has it. How would you move through your day if you already had the relationship you want? How would you make decisions if you already had the abundance you desire? How would you treat yourself and others if you already embodied the confidence you are seeking? This is not pretending or faking it till you make it. This is nervous system training. You are giving your body proof that it is safe to be this expanded version of yourself. You are creating new pathways in your brain that support the identity of someone who naturally receives what they desire. You are building emotional muscles that can handle higher frequencies of joy, abundance, love, and success. As you practice this embodiment, pay attention to what resistance comes up. Notice where your nervous system wants to shrink back into familiar limitation. These moments of resistance are gold mines of information about what needs to be healed, updated, or let go of for your manifestations to flow freely. Maybe you notice that when you embody abundance, a voice in your head says you are being greedy or selfish. This shows a belief that needs to be changed. Maybe when you embody love, you feel vulnerable and exposed. This shows you where safety needs to be built. Maybe when you embody success, you feel guilty or like you do not deserve it. This points to worthiness wounds that are ready to be healed. Each piece of resistance is actually a gift, because it shows you exactly what is standing between you and what you want. And once you see it clearly, you can work with it consciously instead of being unconsciously controlled by it. But here is what most people resist about this approach. It seems too simple. It does not require years of study or complex techniques. It does not make you feel like you are working hard enough to deserve what you want. It challenges the conditioning that says anything valuable must be difficult to get. If this recognition of simplicity is touching something in you, if it is waking up a memory of what you have always known but forgot, then I invite you to subscribe. Subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency of trust. Because the more you surround yourself with this understanding, the more natural it becomes to live from it. This is not about watching more content about manifestation. This is about embodying the truth that you already are what you are seeking to become. This is about recognizing that the search itself is what creates the feeling of being separate from what you are searching for. And here is something deep that happens when you truly live from this understanding. You stop being someone who manifests things, and start being someone through whom things manifest. You stop being a person with desires, and start being consciousness experiencing itself through desire fulfillment. You stop being separate from the universe, and start being the universe knowing itself through your unique perspective. This shift in identity is the ultimate manifestation teaching, because it shows that there is nothing to manifest. There is only consciousness recognizing itself in endless forms. Your desires are not things you need to get. They are ways consciousness is expressing itself through you. Your manifestations are not achievements you earn. They are gifts consciousness gives itself through your willingness to receive. But to live from this understanding requires letting go of every story about why manifestation should be hard, why you should have to earn what you want, why you are not deserving of immediate fulfillment. These stories are not your truth. They are collective programming that keeps most people locked in cycles of effort, without ease, wanting without receiving, trying without thriving. Let me share with you the most common stories that block manifestation, and how to let them go. The first story is that good things take time. This seems reasonable and even good, but it is actually a limitation disguised as wisdom. In the quantum field, there is no such thing as linear time. Past, present, and future all exist at the same time. The only reason manifestations seem to take time is because your consciousness is moving through different frequencies at the speed of your willingness to embody them. When you truly align with the frequency of what you want, when your nervous system feels completely safe with having it, when your identity shifts to match it, manifestation can happen instantly. The delay is never in the field's ability to deliver. The delay is in your readiness to receive. The second story is that you need to suffer to grow. This belief is so deep in human consciousness that many people unconsciously create struggle to feel spiritual or worthy. But suffering is not required for evolution. Challenge and growth can happen through joy, expansion, and ease, just as well as through pain and limitation. In fact, when you are in states of joy and ease, you are more open to receiving insights and quantum leaps that speed up your development. The third story is that manifesting material things is somehow less spiritual than manifesting inner peace or wisdom. This creates a ranking of desires that divides your consciousness and blocks your manifestations. The same quantum principles that create inner change create outer abundance. The same consciousness that manifests peace manifests prosperity. The universe does not separate spiritual and material because everything is spirit expressing as matter. The fourth story is that if something is meant for you, it will happen without any effort, so you should not want or try. This passive approach misses the creative partnership between you and the universe. You are not meant to be passive receivers of whatever life gives you. You are meant to be conscious co-creators, actively taking part in designing your experience through your choices, intentions, and vibrational alignment. The fifth story is that manifestation is selfish, or that focusing on your desires takes energy away from helping others. This shows a basic misunderstanding of how consciousness works. When you manifest from alignment, when you embody the frequencies of love, abundance, joy, and peace, you become a living example of what is possible for everyone. Your fulfilled desires do not take away from what is available for others. They expand it by showing that limitation is a choice. As you begin to let go of these stories, you might notice that your mind tries to hold on to them because they have been part of your identity for so long. This is normal and expected. Your mind has been using these limitations as a form of protection, even though they are actually creating the problems they are trying to solve. Be patient and kind with yourself. As you go through this change, remember that you are not just changing your thoughts about manifestation, you are rewiring brain pathways, updating nervous system programming, and shifting the very foundation of how you relate to reality. This is deep work that deserves respect and gentleness. And trust that as you let go of these old stories, new possibilities will naturally appear. You do not need to figure out what to believe. Instead, just create space by releasing what no longer serves you, and allow the truth to show itself through your direct experience. When you release these stories, something amazing happens. Life becomes a flow of continuous manifestation, because you are no longer creating resistance to the natural abundance that is always seeking to express through you. You become a clear channel for consciousness to know itself through the fulfillment of desires. And this is where the quantum aspect becomes undeniable. The field does not separate small desires and large desires, simple manifestations and complex manifestations. It only recognizes vibrational frequency. When you are aligned with the frequency of receiving, everything you are aligned with flows to you with the same ease. This means your bank balance, your relationships, your health, your creativity, your purpose. All of it can change as quickly as your frequency changes. There is no ranking of difficulty in the quantum field. There is only alignment or resistance, coherence or confusion, allowing or forcing. Most manifestation teachings make it seem like you need different techniques for different desires. But quantum science shows that all manifestation happens through the same mechanism. Consciousness turns possibilities into experiences based on vibrational resonance. Change your resonance. Change your reality. It is that simple and that profound. But simple does not mean easy for most people, because simple requires surrendering the complexity that the mind uses to feel important. Simple requires trusting something bigger than your personal will. Simple requires being willing to receive without having figured out how you earned it. This surrender is not defeat. It is the ultimate victory, because it is the recognition that you do not have to fight reality to get what you want. Reality is not your enemy. Reality is the field through which consciousness expresses its endless creativity. And you are not separate from that consciousness. You are that consciousness knowing itself through your unique desires and manifestations. When this truth becomes your lived experience, rather than just an idea, manifestation stops being something you do and becomes something you are. You do not manifest abundance. You are abundance expressing as form. You do not manifest love. You are love recognizing itself everywhere. You do not manifest success. You are consciousness celebrating its own infinite potential. And from this recognition, everything you have ever wanted becomes not just possible, but certain. Because what you want is not something external that may or may not choose you. What you want is consciousness expressing its desire to know itself more fully through your willingness to embody its endless possibilities. Consider watching this video every morning for the next week to tune your nervous system to this frequency of recognition. And if someone in your life is struggling with manifestation or feeling stuck in patterns of effort without ease, share this with them. When you share these quantum consciousness ideas, you create an energy ripple effect that strengthens your own understanding while expanding collective awareness of what is truly possible. This is why manifestation is simpler than you think. Because it is not about getting something you do not have. It is about recognizing what you have always been. It is not about becoming worthy of your desires. It is about remembering that your desires exist because you are already worthy of them. It is not about convincing the universe to give you what you want. It is about realizing that you and the universe are not separate. So as we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to feel this truth. What you want is not something you need to chase. It is already seeking you. What you desire is not something you need to earn. It is already chosen you. What you are calling in is not something separate from you. It is the universe recognizing itself through your unique expression. Take a moment to drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you are choosing to embody as you move forward. Let this be your energetic signature to the quantum field, your statement of who you are choosing to be, rather than what you are trying to get. And if this understanding is resonating with you, if it is waking up something you have always known but perhaps forgotten, then subscribe. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with this frequency of trust and recognition. Because the more of us who embody this truth, the more the world reflects the reality that abundance, love, and fulfillment are not scarce resources to be fought over, but infinite expressions of consciousness to be celebrated and shared. The quantum field is not neutral. It is responsive. It is alive. It is intelligent. And it is already moving everything you have ever wanted towards you at the speed of your willingness to receive it. Not the speed of your effort, but the speed of your receptivity. Not the speed of your trying, but the speed of your trusting. Not the speed of your working, but the speed of your being. What you want wants you back. It has been seeking you through every desire you have ever had. It has been calling you through every dream you have ever dreamed. It has been reaching for you through every vision you have ever seen. And now it is time to stop running from it and start running toward it. Not by doing more, but by being more available to what is already here. This is the quantum truth that changes everything. You are not separate from what you want. You are the space through which it manifests. You are the consciousness through which it expresses. You are the love through which it comes into form. And that recognition is not the beginning of your manifestation journey. It is the completion of it. Because when you realize that you and your desires are one in the field of consciousness, seeking ends and receiving begins. Wanting ends and having begins. Trying ends and being begins. And in that beginning, which is actually a return to what you have always been, everything you have ever wanted finds its way home to you.